Chance that you would take a professional bout in the future after Mike, or is that off the table?
It's on it. It's on it. It's been talks. It's been talks. It's possible.
Okay, so not totally against that possibility.
No, not at all. Not at all. But we just don't know.
Both in the prime, I would probably pick Mayweather to win, just like I would probably pick Pacquiao to win, both in the prime.
Ooh, to beat Crawford.
Yeah, I think so.
Prime for prime? Nice.
Yeah. But is Crawford one of the greatest of all time? 100%. There definitely he is.
He's number one right now. He's number one. This is his generation. This is his timeline. He is the king right now.
Floyd Mayweather has finally spoken about his plans to return in 2020.
Floyd Mayweather has broken his silence regarding a comeback planned for 2026. He also confirmed that his initial appearance will take place this year in a much-anticipated exhibition match against Mike Tyson. However, he stressed that this will not be a professional bout. What really stirred conversation was his disclosure that he's gearing up for an actual sanctioned fight afterward, possibly against Terence Crawford. According to Mayweather, discussions are currently underway, and he highlighted that both he and his team are actively working to make this official return to pro boxing a reality.
Everything is going great. You know, I feel good. Working hard each and every day. And I can't wait for 2020.
Whenever the topic of fantasy matchups in boxing comes up, Floyd Mayweather's name inevitably enters the conversation. Despite being retired, his legacy continues to cast a long shadow over the sport, with ongoing debates about how he would fare against today's elite fighters. Recently, boxing trainer Robert Garcia weighed in with a grounded perspective on a hypothetical clash between Mayweather and Terence Crawford. Garcia acknowledged Mayweather's legendary career, but pointed out that unlike Crawford and Manny Pacquiao, Mayweather never held the title of undisputed champion. Nonetheless, Garcia admitted that Mayweather's technical brilliance and commanding presence in the ring would still make him his pick in such a dream showdown.
He doesn't need it anymore.
With his accomplishments, the only man to ever do 3 weight divisions undisputed, is he now a part of the greatest of all time conversation? And not of this era, but of all time.
Definitely is the greatest, one of the greatest of all times. You know, there's still greats out there. There's still, you know, his era or last era, you know, with the Mayweathers, with the Pacquiaos. I think he's, you know, already accomplished more. Pacquiao was 8 division, so we could argue there because Pacquiao was, 8 division is almost impossible, and he did it. Mayweather never became undisputed. He's a 5 division champion, but never became undisputed. Never really followed that unification, stuff like that. So I think when it comes to accomplishments, I think he's already done more.
Robert Garcia didn't hold back when highlighting what makes Terence Crawford's accomplishments stand out. According to him, Crawford achieved something Floyd Mayweather never did, becoming the undisputed champion in a weight class. He also mentioned Manny Pacquiao, who earned recognition across multiple divisions, further setting a high benchmark. Garcia noted that while Mayweather's resume is stacked with dominant performances, an undefeated record, and iconic victories, the lack of undisputed status leaves a small gap in an otherwise stellar career. That said, he was quick to clarify that this doesn't take away from Mayweather's legacy. Garcia emphasized that Crawford deserves a spot in the conversation among boxing's most well-rounded fighters. Still, drawing from his deep experience in the sport, Garcia explained why he'd still choose Mayweather in a head-to-head matchup, citing Floyd's unmatched defense, impeccable timing, and superior ring intelligence as deciding factors.
Probably still pick Mayweather. Both in the prime, I would probably pick Mayweather to win, just like I would probably pick Pacquiao to win, both in the prime.
Ooh, to beat Crawford.
Yeah, I think so.
Prime for prime? Nice.
Yeah. But is Crawford one of the greatest of all time? 100%. There definitely he is.
With all that said, what can you ultimately say about what occurred and what we saw Saturday night?
It was a great event, great turnout, 70,000 plus people. Gate was fucking insane from what I understand. You know, fucking that's good for boxing, man. Good for boxing, good for all the younger fighters. You know, all these new things going on. I think it's gonna be a positive thing for all the younger fighters.
Adito highlighted that Floyd Mayweather's legacy is built on 2 equally legendary personas. First, there was Pretty Boy Floyd, the young, relentless talent who overwhelmed opponents with blistering speed, aggression, and crisp combinations. Then came Money Mayweather, the strategic mastermind, defensive expert, and global pay-per-view superstar who turned boxing into big business. Olau described Mayweather as a visionary who not only refined his fighting approach, but also carefully shaped his public image. Each version of Floyd carried its own unique energy. Pretty Boy thrilled fans by taking bold risks and delivering knockouts, while Money Floyd captivated audiences with psychological tactics, technical brilliance, and an unmatched ability to turn fights into massive global events. Together, these two phases of his career have left a lasting mark on the sport, not just as a fighter, but as a key figure in transforming boxing's modern business landscape.
I'm sorry. He's a genius. He is a fucking... You know, when I get bored with today's crop of boxers, and Terence, to be fair, has kind of helped me out of my boredom, but sometimes I just go on YouTube and I watch the 24/7s, and then I watch the fight. I'm not joking, I watch the whole fucking episodes, and then I watch the fight. And my guy is a genius. A genius. There will always be an argument, oh, you should have fought that person then, and I get it. I get it, right? It's kind of the argument you can't throw at Muhammad Ali, right? You could throw that argument at Floyd. But dude, unbeaten is unbeaten. Unbeaten is unbeaten. Multi-weight world champion is multi-weight world champion. Do you know what I mean? I've never seen a boxer so like, I'm gonna work you out, and then when I work you out, you're done. Shall I repeat that? I'm gonna work you out, and when I work you out, you're done. And Floyd had this thing where first 2 rounds, you think, whoa, shit, man, this guy's in this fight, and then he works you out. And then he works you out. Floyd, Pretty Boy Floyd was better than Money, but Money Floyd had obviously the fights, right? In terms of the fights that brought all the eyeballs onto him, Oscar De La Hoya fights, you know what I mean? That Pretty Boy Floyd was like, Diego Corrales is probably the best performance really from Pretty Boy Floyd, right? Corrales, I think, was unbeaten at the time, and look what he did to him. But Money Floyd brought the eyeballs on. That's when he started being controversial. Genius outside the ring in terms of marketing, genius inside the ring in terms of defensively, offensively as well. People don't give him as much credit offensively.
Zab Judah, who once faced Floyd Mayweather in the ring, didn't hesitate to recognize Terence Crawford as the standout fighter of this era. He pointed out that every generation has its defining star, and right now, that spotlight belongs to Crawford. Judah referenced a past remark by Canelo Alvarez, who suggested that Crawford might even surpass Mayweather in terms of ability. According to Judah, that's a statement worth paying attention to. He praised Crawford's dominance across multiple weight classes and emphasized how complete his skill set is, noting that no opponent has yet managed to solve his style. While showing full respect for Mayweather's legacy, Judah made it clear that today's moment in boxing is Crawford's. He acknowledged that comparisons between fighters from different eras are inevitable, but insisted that Crawford has earned his place at the top of the current generation.
Number one, this is his generation, this is his timeline, he is the king right now.
Just seen in the press conference, Canelo said that Crawford's better than Mayweather. What did you think?
He's not lying. He fought him. He should know. How can somebody tell somebody that fought both of these guys, he know. Yeah. If anybody would know, Canelo would know.
What do you think's next for both?
I don't know. I think
Too early?
rematch.
You like a rematch?
Probably rematch. I think so. Rematches always sound good. But in a rematch, it'll be the same thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Matter of fact, in a rematch, I'm predicting stoppage earlier.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah. I think so.
Breadman Edwards offered a contrasting perspective on the ongoing Mayweather versus Crawford debate. He dismissed the idea entirely, saying that the matchup feels unnecessary and detracts from the moment Crawford is currently having. In his view, Crawford deserves recognition for his present accomplishments without being constantly measured against legends from previous eras. Edwards suggested that if Mayweather were seriously considering a crossover-style event, a bout with Roy Jones Jr. would make more sense, given the star power and intrigue both names carry. He emphasized that Crawford is at the peak of his career and should be celebrated for what he's achieving now, not pulled into hypothetical comparisons that do little to elevate the sport. For Edwards, these fantasy matchups often distract from real historic moments. He believes boxing should shift focus away from unattainable showdowns and allow Crawford to be recognized as a defining figure of this era, a symbol of greatness in his own right.
He's never gonna get this fight, unfortunately. You know, just two different generations. And I'm not necessarily asking you who would win, but if Floyd and Crawford were to cross paths prime for prime, would you just put that as a, yeah, that's 50-50, man, I don't know? Or are you just like, I might still give the edge to Floyd?
You know, man, I don't really want to compare them right now, Hans, if we seeing everything that's going on with Floyd and Roy. You know what I mean? And, you know, and competitive guys, next thing you know, Bud and Floyd will be mad at each other, man, and wanting to fight because people is like putting them against each other. Let's just enjoy the moment. I don't know. It's a close fight. You know, it's things Floyd do better. It's things that Bud do better. But I'd rather not say, because I'm not going to just lie and just say nothing, like, and make up something just to, I got my opinion on, you know, how the fights will go, and, you know, but I think we should just let the man enjoy his great moment. He's a great fighter. And I see a lot of immature stuff, and I don't like the way things is going with Floyd and Roy. They two guys that a lot of the younger guys look up to, and they taking shots at each other in the media because of the who's better and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I just want to see Bud enjoy his moment. And, you know, unfortunately, they didn't fight. You know, they could have made, they kind of two different eras, though. Even though they was fighting at the same time, Floyd kind of was doing his different thing over there with PBC, and Bud's a lot young, about 10 years younger than him. So it didn't happen, and we got to just live with it. You know what I mean?
Sean Porter shared his thoughts on the unusual announcement of a potential Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson matchup, suggesting it sounds more like a street fight than a traditional boxing bout. He noted that there's genuine animosity between the two, with lingering tension that could make things personal inside or outside the ring. Porter raised doubts about whether any official boxing commission would actually approve the fight, considering the emotional history between the legends. While he acknowledged the spectacle would draw massive attention, he warned that it could also push boundaries the sport typically avoids. In his opinion, the risk of things getting out of control might outweigh the hype. Several other analysts echoed Porter's concerns, criticizing the growing trend of exhibition matches involving iconic names like Mayweather, Tyson, and even Jake Paul. They argued that these events often shift the focus away from competitive boxing and more toward headline-driven entertainment.
Don't see this one coming unless you know the history of these two guys.
Yeah, they don't like each other too much, do they, Sean?
When you look at the history, it's kind of like for a street fight. It doesn't make sense for like a in-the-ring situation, and so it's kind of like, I guess for the sake of words, crazier things have happened, and then now you have to say, well, no, it doesn't get crazier than this.
Yeah, you're not kidding, right? You know, obviously we watched Mike Sean in November against Jake Paul. I think clearly those guys like each other. Floyd and Mike, not so much. Obviously, there's been some tension there over the years. Do you think they go in there, despite the fact that this is an exhibition fight? I mean, do they go in there and do they both try and take each other out?
I don't know what that fight looks like. And, you know, that kind of was my biggest apprehension with coming on with you guys today. It was like, how do you analyze what a fight between Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather could look like, right? So then you think about when Floyd got in the ring with Big Show. We already know, like, we know now more than we've ever known before that the WWE is fake. It's kind of like acceptable. But it wouldn't be acceptable in a boxing ring. You know, it wouldn't be acceptable if there becomes some sort of weird antics and things like that. I mean, I guess I'll have to do what I did once before with Mike and Jake, and I'm gonna go on record for saying this doesn't happen.
Falls apart sometime before.
This doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't know how you can make it make sense. I don't know how you can make this one make sense.
And to your point, they may have it, but if they have it, they haven't said it yet. There's no date for the fight, no location that's been announced. So,
right.
Many observers have noted that fans haven't been particularly impressed with the spectacle surrounding Jake Paul's fights, raising concerns about why boxing keeps turning to retired legends instead of spotlighting the current generation of talent. To some, this trend reveals a deeper issue, that today's fighters are struggling to command widespread attention on their own. Analysts warn that if the sport continues down this path, it risks becoming overly dependent on nostalgia, drifting further from the core values of genuine, high-level competition that once defined it.
stuff like this. No, I didn't like the Jake-Mike fight. I told you guys that. I didn't think Mike should have been fighting then. I don't think he should be fighting now. I don't like the fact that Jake and Gervonta are fighting when Gervonta is a sitting champion. At least these two are retired, but this is an indication, and I've said this over and over, of where boxing is. That this will probably have a ton of intrigue, but it's almost like the WWE rolling out Stone Cold Steve Austin or rest in peace Hulk Hogan whenever they need a big time pop and whenever they need to get the crowd energized because their current stars just aren't hitting the same. This is what boxing feels like right now. Boxing feels like Antiques Roadshow. Honestly, this kind of stuff, that's what it feels like. And again, it's the spectacle, it's the entertainment value, and it is the era of the unpredictable, as Mike says there, but it's not good. I can tell you that. It is not good. This is why we need people like Turkey Al-Sheikh, Eddie Hearn, Oscar De La Hoya, hell, Dana White to come into boxing and fix this shit, because stuff like this and Jake and Gervonta is kind of the norm now. Mike says, I still can't believe Floyd really wants to do this. He added, it's going to be detrimental to his health, but he wants to do it, so it's signed and it's happening. It's not even believable to hear Mike talk like that now. Because yes, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, he'd be right. But we saw Mike struggle to walk into the ring versus Jake. And yeah, Mike was dangerous enough for Jake not engage with him, but Jake not engaging with him just circled and jabbed his way to the ending of an exhibition where both guys get their hand raised, and we all feel like, yeah, that wasn't a fight, because clearly Mike is not the same, and clearly Jake did not want to take that extra step to try to actually put him away.
Joe Rogan shared his thoughts on the relationship between Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson, highlighting the personal tension that has existed between them for quite some time. Rogan pointed out that Floyd has never really been fond of Mike, and this underlying friction could influence their behavior if they were to face off in the ring. Rather than sticking to his well-known defensive style, Floyd might actually try to go for a knockout to settle their differences decisively. Although Floyd isn't typically known for chasing knockouts later in his career, Rogan suggested that strong personal feelings could push him to change his usual approach. This potential shift in Floyd's strategy is what adds an interesting twist to the idea of a matchup, even though it may not be very likely.
They're not trying to knock each other out.
No, well, Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather don't like each other. They have not liked each other forever.
Tyson and Mayweather.
Yes,
but they like
Mike Tyson and Mayweather don't like each other.
Huh.
If there's a fight that might be real, like where Mike Tyson might say, I'm going to knock this motherfucker out, or I'm going to try to knock this motherfucker out.
It would be Floyd? They wouldn't fight.
Yeah, because if you look at like the Jake Paul fight, no disrespect, and if you look at the Roy Jones fight, no disrespect.
Yeah.
They look like they were sparring.
Yeah.
Right? It looked like there was agreements made.
Yeah.
Working. I do not know if Mike would honor any of those agreements. Really? If there was a moment
They've had beef for years.
Yeah. If there was a moment to really... Could he hit him? I mean, that little motherfucker can move still at 50 years old. Yeah. He's so slick.
Yep.
He's still in shape. He's still fit.
They're both old as fuck.
As fuck.
But this is the boxing.
How old is Mayweather?
67.
Dude, Bernard
49?
Hopkins was still at the best in the world at 50.
Yep.
I mean, that's incredible.
That doesn't mean shit, though. With this. Because he was active fighting contenders.
Yeah. Kentucky's got Gomez on the ground.
You're talking about two retired guys.
Yeah.
Fighting the exhibition.
So
it's just money grabs.
It's
just,
so weird,
Yeah, it is weird. It's money grabs. I don't like it, but it's fun. You know, something to watch.
I'll hate on it, but I'll tune in.
Yeah, I'll tune in. It's, but it's not really fighting.
So Jake Paul's not going to actually be trying to knock out Gervonta Davis.
There's a reason it says exhibition.
If I had a guess. Yeah. The event itself would be a world-class venue and be presented to a global audience with new in-ring technology elements that will reshape how boxing is presented and scoring is achieved for years to come. What does that mean?
That shit has Abu Dhabi written all over
What does that mean? This is Tyson versus Mayweather. What does that mean? Where are they doing that? Are they doing that in Saudi Arabia?
But of course.
Because
they have all the money.
My friend.
And they just go, what do you want to see? I'd always like to see Floyd Tyson.
Who wants to fight an alligator?
Ariel Helwani wrapped up the conversation with a realistic take, noting that an official Floyd versus Mike fight probably won't happen. He mentioned that many insiders consider it more of an exhibition match meant for entertainment and financial gain. More significantly, Helwani pointed out that some view this event as a sort of warm-up for Floyd's next serious bout, potentially against Terence Crawford in a professional setting. By describing the fight with Mike as just a sideshow, Helwani shifted the focus back to the more legitimate prospect of Floyd's return to sanctioned competition. From his perspective, the exhibition serves mainly as a way to build hype, while talks for a Crawford fight continue behind the scenes.
Mayweather has been out of the spotlight for a lot longer now. Yeah. I don't think there's interest in it.
Does it happen, GC?
No. Which has more of a chance of happening, Connor? White House card or
White House
Mayweather
card seems to be happening. I got to eat my crow on that one.
Yeah.
It's tough. Tyson Floyd.
No chance.
Also, even if it does happen, it's just like, who really cares?
Yeah.
Like, it's not them at their highest level. It's an exhibition. Everybody will clown on it when it eventually does happen.
There is a way that exhibitions can be fun. Tyson versus Roy Jones was actually like the best version of that, right? An exhibition that like I thought was exciting, delivered for the fans, but also that was so long ago for Mike Tyson. The version that we saw
like early 50s.
Yeah, the version that we saw against Jake Paul just can't do it anymore.
Guy around his size too. Floyd Mayweather is not that.
Roy's pretty small, but
so
no, not as small as Floyd though.
Yeah, Roy fought at heavyweight at one time.
Yeah, Floyd is very small.
Mike Roy was super interesting. It was in the very kind of early stages of the pandemic.
Yeah,
8 months in, but we were still kind of dark and depressed at that point. And like Tyson hadn't fought, it was nostalgic. It was Roy. Okay, so I got the appeal. I got the appeal of Jake because he was so much younger and he's a novice compared to Tyson. I don't know. Okay, now what's the appeal here? You know what I mean?
Two of the greatest boxers ever to fight each other.
Just I feel like we just saw that with Tyson and Roy. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the same hook.
I feel like Tyson and Roy didn't have the same like vast reach that
was a
Jake
big
Paul
deal.
versus.
That wraps up today's video. Make sure to check back soon for more updates.